Good morning, guys. I'm picking up on the Washburn B-20 base here, and last time I was just about to get the nut ready, and it is just fitted nicely up here with no overhang on each of the sides. And what comes next now is to actually trace a few lines on the nut itself here in order to calculate thread height and the overall desired height of the nut here. And to do that, I have this StewMac safe slot nut guard here, and it is mainly meant for guitars, but I found out that it could also be used on bass as well here. So it comes with one of the shims here, and this in particular is one of the thicker shims meant for acoustic guitars. But with the measurements that I did a dry run yesterday, and I found out that for this bass I'm actually able to set it up to work, and this will just get the process going easier because I don't have to do anything the more meticulous way of having to draw lines. I have everything that I can do just loaded into the cradle here and strike my lines, and I'll be good. So these instructions come with the safe slot, and it says to fit the new nut. That is all done. It is ready. Position the outer E strings. Yeah, well, we can do that, but in this case the nut is quite tall, so the accuracy of me putting those on right here and then trying to figure out pressing the strings all the way down, I'm not getting a good enough read at this point to do that. So I've just tried to put them up loosely and then just use my string spacing rule here in order to see if I could get string spacing that I'm happy with, and I think I've gotten somewhere in the ballpark here, so we're just going to do that later. So without positioning the outer E strings, I have to measure the full width of the nut, and I've done that, and the width comes in around 41.6 millimeters. So we're just going to write that down in this case. Then the next thing that we have to do is to measure the overall fret height. So the way that I did this was that I took my fret rocker here, I placed it on top of the two first frets, and then I bottomed up the fret rocker here, and then I just took a few feeler gauges and just slid them under in order to see how many feeler gauges I could pass under there. And I got a read about 40,000. So we're going to settle for that. It might be a little on the high side, but I'd rather be on the high side than on the low side. So with that done, we can move on to the next page here. It also shows us how to stack a ruler and some feeler gauges. Then it tells us to use the safe slot to mark the height. So this is the fret height. So I will be stacking feeler gauges together to equal 40,000. And I've gotten out these two feeler gauges right here, which is a 24th and a 16th. So this will equal 40 in total. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to load this into the safe slot. And I'll just get that set up and get you a little closer look here so we can do that, guys. So just got the camera set up in another angle here, and you can see. So we're going to load in the feeler gauges, these two feeler gauges right here. And the way we're going to do this, we're just going to hold up the cradle. We're going to slide in the feeler gauges. We're just going to get them nice up against the nut here. And then I'm just going to tighten it down. And it's just a matter of tightening them down so that they won't bump up in the middle. So I'm just going to try to do that here. Just get them set down and make sure that everything is as it's supposed to. And I think that we're good there. Just checking the sides, and we're good. So I'm just going to reach in for my pencil, which is ground in half here. And with that, I'm just going to put that on and then just strike a line so that we have that for reference. So this right here is now the height of the frets. So we're just going to take this one out like this, and we can continue on to the next step. And the next step in this case would be to actually determining the overall height of the knot here. And we do that by adding 3 measures together. And is the fret height. It is the desired or preferred action at the first fret, and it is half the diameter of the strings. So we move on over to the next page here, and you'll see that they have done this type of diagram over here. This one where they says we have half the string diameter, action at first fret, and a fret height. So we add those numbers together, and we do that on both the E side and the G side. And from there we select our tapered shim, and we put that in the safe slot. So I'm gonna measure this out for the E side over here, and I've already done that. The total knot height is going to be 122 thousandths of an inch. So that is what I'm gonna load in to the shim. So with the shim here, and me having to find the total knot height for the E side here, I have multiplied the fret height, the string diameter, and the desired first fret action. And with the shim here and my digital caliper, I'm going to just simply insert the shim into it, then just let it slide down until it reaches a stop. And with that stop, I know where I have to put a mark. So I know that it's between these 2 lines right here. And as you might be able to see, I've also already put in my mark here. So this right over here is going to be the side that I'm going to put up against the knot on the E side here. And then it tells us on the next page to measure from the mark on the base side here. I'm going to measure from that the width of the knot over and then strike a new mark. And the total width of the knot here is 41.60 millimeters. So I'm just going to zero out my caliper, and I'm just going to do 41. And let's just see, 41.60. 41.60, that's around here, and just load it in. So from the mark on my shim here, I'm going to lay it across and just get it on the line. And this right here, over here, where I've already drawn a pencil line from my dry run, I know that from the X over here over to the line, this is where I insert the shim, so that with the X it matches on the base side, and with the line it just bottoms up against the end of the knot over here. So with that I'm good. So we can now take the shim, we can load it in here, and we can make sure that we set it up just as it's supposed to, so that it lines up perfectly on the side of the knot there, because with this is going to determine the actual slope of the knot here. So if I take you in a little closer, you can see that we have set up the shim on it here, and again I'm just looking for that it's not humping out in the middle here. So with that I can take my pencil and I can just draw a new line across here. And with that done, I can take it off again, get it out. And let's just see, we've done the mark. We should have gotten everything right. We're going to locate the shim, place the shim, strike the line. Next part here is just for me to shape to the top of the line here. So I can actually go and take the knot out, and I can get you in on a closer look here, hopefully. So just like that. I hope that you're able to see the two lines. It's not easy. Can you see that? There, in the light reflection, you can see that I have two lines going across now. One slopes over here from the base side to slightly sloping down over here on the G side. So That is how the nut is now set up. And I'm just going to take this over to the belt center again now, and I'm just going to go shy of the top line because this is the top of the nut. So I'll have to get that set up and we can shape the top of the nut here.